What's going on, guys? So today we're going to do something a little bit different, and we're going to talk about 5 myths about the United States Army. So I'm going to go ahead and jump right on into this video with the number one thing that I hear all the time from people who are outside of the Army and whatnot, is that the only people who join the military or the Army are people where they have no other option in life, where like they can't do anything else in life, so they decide to go and join the Army because it's just a guaranteed job. You know, you're pretty likely to get in if you really, really want to. And that is so not true. It's ridiculous how not true that statement is. I mean, for starters, myself, I have a whole bunch of other things that I could do besides doing the Army. My little brother has a whole lot of things that he could do besides being in the Army. I've met so many people, practically everybody in the Army that I've met, they could have done something else. Like maybe every now and then you come across somebody who doesn't really have a skill, they don't really know what to do, so they could decide to join the Army to buy themselves a couple of years. And honestly, that's a pretty smart decision, because let's say you actually don't know what you want to do. It's not that you can't do anything else, but you just don't know. Join the military for 4 years, figure out what you want to do, get out, and then do that. That happens every now and then, but the fact that people think that the only reason people join the military is because they have no other option, and I mean, I've heard people say that about me whenever I joined. Like, it just makes no sense to me, but that is a total myth, and hopefully some of you guys will understand that if you're coming across this video for the first time. Another really common myth that people say is, oh, I'm just really out of shape. I would never make it through basic training. I wouldn't make it. And that is myth number 2 here, guys. It really doesn't matter what kind of physical shape you're in. There are people who say they suck at running, they can't do push-ups, they can't do sit-ups, they can't do whatever, so they wouldn't make it through basic training. And as I've talked about before in my video, it's actually my most popular video, which is the only way to fail basic training. The only way to really fail basic training is to quit. Now, of course, you can get hurt or other things, but if you don't quit and if you have that dedication to make it through, then you're gonna pass basic training. No matter what shape you're in at the beginning of basic training, you will build up to where you can pass that PT test. You will build up to where you can pass the ruck march, and to be able to withstand the physical things that you're going to do while you're in the military. Because it doesn't matter if you can't run 2 miles in 30 minutes. When you get to basic training, you're going to be running and running and running, and I don't recommend being that slow, but it is possible. It has happened in my company. There was a guy who did his 2-mile run in like 34 minutes or something like that, which is mind-blowing to me because I can walk 2 miles faster than that. But it happens, and guess what? That person passed basic training. So myth number 2, I'm out of shape, I would never make it past basic training. That is false for sure. Myth number 3 here is that there are no women in the Army, and this one is growingly becoming more and more false, every single day, because the females joining the military is growing at a very rapid rate. Especially if you're not in a combat MOS, there's going to be a lot more women and females than you think. Now, I'm not saying this for any of you couples out there who are worried about your boyfriend or anything. That's not a big deal. There's going to be more, obviously, in the real world as far as that goes. But there's definitely more women than you're going to think whenever you join the Army. It's more than I thought. I don't have a combat MOS. For those of you who don't know, I was 25 Bravo, which is an IT specialist. And there was definitely more females during that AIT than I thought there was going to be. And now that they're opening up combat MOSs to females, there's going to be more and more females in those areas, those jobs. And the fact that some people think that there's just no females in the Army, and they're just like basically a unicorn. You'll never ever see them because there's no females out there that want to do the military. That's totally false. There's females who are like the girliest of girlies, and then the tomboyest of the tomboy girls out there in the Army, and that's something crazy that maybe I didn't really think about at first whenever I joined, but it definitely surprised me a little bit. The number 4 myth about the Army is, oh, I'm picking a non-combat MOS. I'm never going to get to see combat. I'm never going to have to see fire my weapon or anything like that. And that one is definitely a myth. No matter what job you pick in the Army, you have the potential to be in a firefight. You have the potential to see combat. You have the potential to be attacked by an enemy. Whether it's like you actually having to go out on a mission and basically kill some people, or whether you're on a convoy where you're in your Humvees and you're just moving areas and then you get attacked from there, because that's really, really common. So if you're just in a convoy and your whole company or whatever is, and they're leaving, they're going somewhere else, usually that route has been reconned and it's supposed to be safe, but it's a really common place for people to get hit. And it doesn't matter what MOS you have. It doesn't matter what MOS you have. If you're on that convoy and you get attacked, guess who turns into an infantryman? That's you. So that's something to think about. A lot of people think that, oh, like for example, for myself, I was a 25 Bravo. A lot of people might think, oh, he's an IT guy, he's never going to see combat, blah, 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 blah. That's totally not true. Happens all the time. And you know, people need to think about that whenever they're picking their jobs. And that's one of the reasons that I think people should respect all MOSs, because at some point in time, every single MOS, no matter what job you have, you have that chance and that you have that risk of seeing combat. You have that risk of actually putting your life like between like you and a bullet. So like that risk is there for every single MOS, and that's definitely a misconception, especially with the fact that we haven't been in a serious war for a while. And I've said this before, you know, and my cadre and everybody have said this, you know, the higher ups in my unit. We haven't been in a serious war in a while. And in my opinion, again, I've said this before, anybody who's joining the military now, I'm about to be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the Army. And me, all of you, a lot of you guys watching this right now, if you're planning on being in for a while, your first contract, second contract, we're gonna see some kind of serious war, whether it's with a big country or, you know, going just full on taking out ISIS or something like that. But, you know, we're gonna see some real big conflicts coming up here soon. So, you know, that's just another reason that it doesn't matter what your MOS is, you definitely have the potential to see combat. And speaking of infantry, the fifth and final myth that I have for you guys here is people think when they pick infantry as their job, that's going to be the whole big, you know, who I'm going to get to do all this cool stuff. I'm going to get to shoot guns all the time. I'm going to get to do cool things every day, all the time, and that's all that I'm going to do. And yes, you do get to shoot guns a lot more than other MOSs. Yes, you do get to do a bunch of cool things, but a large percentage of your job is basically you're like the landscaping guy. Talk to any infantry guy out there. I'm telling you, talk to any infantry guy out there that you know, that you're friends with or whatever. Maybe one of your friends is infantry and he joined the Army before you. Just ask him, like, how much like just bullcrap tasks do you do? Like, do you really just go out there and pick weeds with your hands? Do you really just go out there and just clean up massive amounts of areas like all day long and mow grass and take out the trash and clean up the battalion area? Because that's a big part of the infantry. It's been said by multiple people that infantry is basically, they're the landscapers of the Army. They are the guys that like keep up the battalion area. They're the guys that, you know, go around and clean up things. And that's just a real common thing with infantry especially. Yeah, they do get to do a whole lot of cool stuff, but you also do a whole bunch of crap at the same time. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I haven't done really many like top 5, you know, 5 facts, 5 myths or whatever videos before, so I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, hit that like button. That would be awesome. If you have any questions about the Army or anything at all, if you're a family member, if you're somebody who's about to go, leave any comments you have down below. If you want to send me a message on Instagram or Snapchat or whatever, you know, follow me on there, feel free to do that. Link is in the description. If you want to stick around for some more videos, there's that subscribe button that you can click, and I'll see you guys later.